Welcome back, everyone. How's everyone doing? Today we're going to be going over today's trade recap. We ended up taking a short on the US 500. We'll go over the recap real quick. This ended up being a break-even trade, a little bit of profit, but overall break-even trade. And then ended up going and hitting full TP, which sucks, but is what it is. I know that my overall idea was right in the end. I just need to work on a few other things in terms of like money management and stuff like that. So today we had a trade on the US 500. We entered around 11:24 EST, and we got taken out of the trade at 11:44. It was a bearish bias today. We had strong downtrend on the lower time frame. We had a pullback in the downtrend, and then I entered the day trade New York session on the 1 minute. We had displacement. We had SMT divergence with relative, not in the trade that I took, but a little bit into the trade there ended up being SMT, so I'll show you guys that. But the trade entry did have an inversion, and it was candle, and we had candle confirmation as well. It was a sell. Stop loss was 50 pips. We again moved to break even. So we had taken one partial, moved to break even, and then that was it for that. Profit, we got one profit. It was a B setup, risk management error, honestly, and market condition misjudgment. I think I ended up making a net P&L of like $29 or $30. But I'll put it in the title, and I'll update these as well. So why did I take this trade? Going to the market open, we had a huge move to the upside, as you'll see, but with no entry, as it did not present anything for my trading plan. So there was no sweep. There was no, pullback into a 5 minute with then an SMT. Like there was nothing. It kind of just did like a small time frame sweep of no major liquidities, and then just rocketed it up and ended up taking out a bunch of the buy side POIs. Immediately after sweeping the final POI of the day, market completely dumps. Patiently waiting to see I was patiently waiting. Saw a few 5 minute FVGs form. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them that formed. Waited for a pullback. We got a pullback into pretty much the last bearish FVG that we produced. Got an entry. There wasn't, so when I went to enter, I marked it out wrong on the chart. I believe there was an SMT that when there really wasn't, but this was after I already entered the trade. Set the stop loss to break even after first partial once I realized there was no SMT. So it wasn't in my plan. So I was just kind of managing it as I went along since I was already in the trade. Set the stop loss to be after first partial was taken and got stopped. It continued out to the final TP after presenting an SMT, which you'll see, but pretty much went well. Patient, stuck to my plan, except I missed the one thing about the SMT. I executed because I've been having a lot of problems with just executing trades. Why there hasn't been videos in a while is because I just haven't taken any trades where every day I get up, I do that, like I'm doing everything on the charts. I'm looking for trades. I see trades, but I don't end up taking them because I don't execute on them. And that's been a little bit of a problem. But we had clear TPs. What went wrong? There was no SMT on the first trade. Could have taken a second entry, but didn't end up taking it. Moved stop loss too early, and then too many take profits, which I'll kind of go in and explain pretty much that once we get on the chart. So going into today, as you can see here on the US 500, let me get rid of all these markings. This was to start the day, this vertical line. As you can see, it came down, didn't even sweep this, like a little bit of liquidity here. Wasn't too much of a major liquidity. There's some major liquidities down here, but didn't end up sweeping any major liquidity, and then just rocketed up. Ended up taking out, let's see what it ended up taking out. I marked these out, but this was an hourly high, and then we had a previous day high up here, and then this it was just another hourly high, I believe, or 15-minute high, something like that. Ended up taking out all these liquidity on both the US 500 and the US 100. Again, 1 hour liquidity, previous day high, completely taking them out, leaving no retracements, no entries for buys, no nothing. But after we were patient, we saw the market completely reverse off these highs, leaving multiple 1, 2, 3 fair value gaps, actually 4 up here, 4 bearish fair value gaps that I marked out when I was in the trading session. But now that the trading session's over, I kind of just cleaned it up a little bit for you guys. And then we had another bearish fair value gap down here. Let me just get rid of that. So I marked out the bearish fair value gap there. Simply waited for a pullback into any of these fair value gaps, but we had a pullback into the first, or I guess in this term, the last bearish fair value gap that was presented on that down leg, which means there was slowing of momentum. We wanted a little bit of a pullback into one of the bearish fair value gaps to kind of grab more liquidity or fill some more orders to then continue on to the downside. So what I initially had marked out and why I took the trade a little bit early compared to where I should have taken the trade was, I believe it was somewhere within here, within the 5-minute fair value gap. I thought there was an SMT here and here where it makes a lower low, and this made and then you can see on the US 100, this made a higher high. This was different times. This top was at 11:02, and then this top was 11:07. So there were mismatched times. So really, this was the SMT that I saw. But again, as you can see, made a lower low. This made a lower low, presenting no bearish SMTs. And then as you can see here, if I mark out this high to this high where I thought the SMT was, again, it's the same thing. Makes a higher high, makes a higher high. So there's no bearish SMT when I entered, but I didn't notice till after I already entered. So I kind of just went into more of a risk management mode instead of letting things kind of play out, whether it hit stop loss or hit final TP. So pretty much what I did as I entered off of that inversion, see if I can get back to, oh, it just deleted it. Okay, cool. Oh, there we go. Got it. I wanted to bring back the position. So after it tapped into the 1 minute, we saw a IFVG right here. As you can see, there's a bullish fair value gap that gets inverted very quickly, and I don't know what the word would be, but really good. Like, it was a perfect inversion, lots of momentum, lots of displacement. And then as you can see, there's accumulation, manipulation, leaving the fair value gap, and then the distribution. So within the 5-minute bearish fair value gap, which is my plan, it's how I trade. It's what I like to trade. And it always seems to work out for the most part, more than not. So that's how you know you're doing something good. So again, here we go. Let me just mark that out as a IFVG. I got filled down here, so not on the close of that candle that inverted, but the next candle pretty much. Entered the trade, and then pretty much just, yeah, this is when I ended up noticing there was no SMT. So I was kind of just hyper looking at the charts, making sure that there was no bullish SMTs that got formed, which there wasn't. But I marked out this as TP1, this low. After it came into profit, retraced, I kind of marked that as TP1 or break even as well. So I marked that as TP. So that was the first TP. It hit TP, as you can see, after going into a little bit of drawdown. I moved stops to break even and got stopped out on this candle at 11:44. But as you can see, ended up not hitting stop loss. So if I didn't move stops to break even and just let it ride, then it would have ended up absolutely just smashing a major low, and then also London lows as well, which is just another major draw on liquidity, which I knew the draw on liquidity was to the downside. But when you're in a trade that's not fully within your plan, then you kind of have to just manage it. And I managed it the way I did, and I ended up getting taken out. So we got $26 or something in profit off that first TP, and then got stopped out, break even. And then I kind of just watched it and then just dumped on down. As far as with the trade I should have taken was this one on the NAS. I knew the NAS was definitely the leading index, where the S&P was just not as drawn to the downside, as you can see on NAS. After I seen this SMT, There was no bullish fair value gap. That could have got inverted on the 1 minute. There was a 30-second inversion, but I didn't end up taking it because I don't trade off the 30 seconds. So if I were to take another trade and I didn't really care about my plan, I probably would have taken a sell off of this, put the stops at the high there. If I was trading the 30 seconds, because that was inversion right there. And then the sell off would have been absolutely just beautiful to full take profit. But again, not fully within my plan, so didn't end up taking it, but could have had a pretty good trading day. Otherwise, other than that, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I did want to go over as well last Wednesday's trade, since I traded that day, but I didn't end up making a video, which was the 12th. Let me see. Let me quickly go over last Wednesday's trade. Let's see, where was it? All right. Right here. Oh, all right. So pretty much we saw here last Wednesday. I can't go to the 1 minute. I don't think I'll be able to see it all, but pretty much what we had is market open at 9:30 on this black candle. Came down. We left a 5-minute bearish fair value gap. Retraced. We had an SMT, a bearish SMT, where NAS made a higher high, but US 500 made a lower low. We had an inversion. There is a 1 minute inversion in there. Took the sell, but then I ended up moving stops to break even due to a bullish SMT getting formed. So once you're in a sell using a bearish SMT and then you see a bullish SMT get formed on the opposite index, I always like to either take profit there, move stops to break even, something like that. So then we ended up getting a pullback, stopped out at break even, ended up getting a second entry. I can't remember if I took it. I don't think I took it or not, but there was a second entry. Ended up taking out some major lows, and would have been a good trade. I don't believe I took the trade. Okay, so yeah, I did take it. So the first trade was break even, as you can see here, US 500. See, I'll pull up the screenshot real quick. This is the screenshot for that one. So that was the break even trade. Took it. The bullish SMT got formed. Moved stops to break even. Got stuck out. And then as you can see here, this is on the 1 minute chart. We ended up getting another inversion, bullish inversion, and then ended up taking the entry and ended up taking full TP, which was this trade. And yeah, ended up making only $82, I think, just because I didn't manage the position very well. But overall, we did good. We got our entries. We ended up we executed last Wednesday and then today as well. I'm just having issues with executing for some reason. I see the trades, but I either get into them late or I'm not paying attention and end up missing it. So as you can see, last Wednesday, $76, and then today, $26. Could have been a lot more. I think like the 6th, and the 7th had trade opportunities, didn't execute. There's a few executions last week, didn't execute. So it's just a matter of like seeing it play out and then executing with conviction, and not just like watching it play out without me being in the position. So it is what it is. We're learning. But overall, all my trading days for the past couple weeks has been like my idea has been correct, but I just need to execute. So that's pretty much it for this trading recap. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys didn't understand anything I just said, and if anything I just said makes no sense, then leave a comment and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, today's Wednesday. We still got tomorrow and Friday. Hopefully we do a little bit better. But that's it. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.